There's hot water. It's not good. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see me. I have an ND filter right now and I'm kind of in between the sun and shadows. But I want to end this video with a few thoughts about the Miata I test drove. It was about a day and a half ago. So within that time, I gathered up a few thoughts, and long story short, I loved it. I loved the test drive. I can't believe it's like the first time I test drove a Miata. I ended up test driving a black club trim ND2 soft top. So wow, I don't know where to start other than let's go ahead and just compare. Again, like you saw the video, I was smiling from ear. I was grinning from ear to ear. I had a stupid smile on because I couldn't, you know, just like the S2000, it brought me smiles. I'm not saying that this car doesn't, but it's a totally different type of drive. I would say. There's a lot of differences within the Honda and the Miata. What I want to touch base on is the shifter. First thing I noticed was the shifter. It felt notchy, it felt direct, but it's notchy in a different sense. The S2000 felt really mechanical. Also for the AP2, I had problems where it would pop out a second gear and I'll be kind of revving in neutral. I learned to kind of manipulate it so I won't go ahead and not sync up the gears. But it wasn't my fault. It's more like the tranny itself from an older model because it's like 2004 vehicle. Nothing like that problem is non-existent in the Mazda. Of course, it's a new car. What I didn't know was that the little tiny window on the tach, it was actually not a digital speedometer. I got used to it really quickly in terms of the analog speedo, but at the same time that kind of surprised me. Going back to the shifter, I remember driving the Mark 6 before I did all the modifications to the shifter to make it my own. I remember shifting from third to fourth and almost money shifting into second because of how softer or mushy the shifter felt. So I'm glad to find out that the Mazda is different. Moving on, the clutch felt comfortable. It felt like home. Just getting into it, I didn't feel like the car was too small, even though it is technically shorter than the S2000, 10 inches shorter than the Golf R. There was a part of the video where I had the chance to actually, where there's no cars in front of me, I actually had the chance to go ahead and floor it. And immediately when I floored it, I felt the lack of torque, mainly because I was so used to driving this turbocharged vehicle and the torque available at like 18 RPMs or something like that. So immediately I felt the underpowered vehicle. What you mean? So despite the lack of power on the MX-5, I find that it makes up for it via its fun factor. And maybe it's because I haven't driven stick in a while, but it left quite the impression on me. Having said that, I think the AP2, which is 15 years older than this modern ND platform, I find the steering a tad bit better because of its hydraulic steering. It felt tighter. The throttle response felt just a little bit more responsive, maybe because due to drive-by cable. I think the ND2 has a dual mass flywheel as well, but I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for my next video, and due to technical difficulties, I'm going to end it off here. GoPro, stop recording.